Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's Chris Whelan here from the Center of Business Excellence, Building Better Businesses. I want to talk to you today about the second half of what we started last week, which was how to systemize a business and the need for systemization. You'll recall if you saw last week's video, if you read the blog, I was talking about moving from chaos to profit in 9 fairly easy steps. Last week we covered vision, mission, culture. I think we probably left out SMART goals, which is the next one. And after the SMART goals, of course, becomes an organizational chart. So step number 5, if you like, is developing an organizational chart. Then the position contracts, which actually go along with each position in that organization. KPIs, key performance indicators for the organization and for each of the roles, of course. And then how-to systems, right? How do you actually do stuff? And then management systems. And I'll cover each of those briefly in the next couple of minutes. Let me just remind you, though, that, excuse me, there are probably only 4 ways that you can really drive a business forward, 4 ways that you can get leverage in a business, that you can do more with the same amount of effort, same amount of work, or less work and actually achieve the same results. So those are systems and technology, which is what we're talking about now. It's delivery and distribution, making sure that your delivery systems, your distribution systems are optimized. The third one is people in education, obviously massively, massively important. Every team needs great people, and they need to be well educated. They need to be well trained. So that's the third area. And then the fourth area, which, excuse me, people often miss out, is building a system that tests and measures every aspect of your business, right? What do I mean by that? To give you an example of marketing. Is marketing an expense or is it an investment? Well, if you test it and you measure it and it works, so you're getting a return on investment, then clearly it's an investment, not just an expense. So those 4 areas, what we're talking about today and what we spoke about last week are the areas of systems and technology and how we can use those to optimize your business. A question that sometimes came up in the last week since I put the first one out, people say, well, why are we talking about systems? And the simple answer is that systems, if you like, stand for saving you time, energy and money. System, right? If you take the acronym, saving you time, energy, and money. And that's why we're talking about it, because if you get it right, it absolutely does give you extra time. And by giving you the extra time, it then obviously makes you money and makes your business more efficient as well. So let's go through it. We've spoken about this, vision, mission, culture. The issue of goals, and everyone has by now heard the term SMART goals, right? They need to be specific, they need to be measurable. Very importantly, they need to be attainable or achievable. I'll tell you in a moment why that is the case. They need to be relevant and they need to be time-bound. Just a comment about being attainable or achievable. If they're not, goals are massively powerful. They give you direction. They almost say, look, this is who you need to become to achieve the outcome that you want. And they give you a sense of momentum when you achieve them. If you make them so impossibly hard to achieve, I'm not talking about setting stretch goals, that's fantastic. But if you make them impossible to achieve, they become demotivated. So be careful when you building your goals. Make sure they're smart, but also make sure they are, as I say, achievable. So vision, mission, culture we did last week. SMART goals we just touched on now. The next element is your organizational chart. Now, I call it an organogram, right? With let's say it was the board of directors at the top, or the owners and the board of directors. Below that is the general manager or the chief executive that's running the organization. And then below him or her, a whole set of people doing different tasks in the business. What I've seen, particularly in small and medium enterprises, particularly before they get to sort of 15, 20, 30 people, perhaps beyond that, it starts changing a little bit. But up until about then, it's often the owner doing a lot of the work. And so you might have, let's say it's Joe, the owner. Joe is the MD. She's also the person that does the HR. They also do the IT systems. They also do the marketing. They're on the phone. They're out there trying to build the business. They're working on it some of the time, but they're working in it a lot of the time. So if you looked at that org chart, that nice structured org chart, what you see is Joe's name all over the show. That's not abnormal. It's quite normal in a business for the first several years. But what you want to get to is to build that now for 36, 60 months time, for when the business is, when I say finished, when the business owner can be off doing stuff, the business is running under management. Why is that so important? Because then it allows you to build that team proactively. You know what you need. You've defined the skills you want in each of the different roles. You know which roles you need. Excuse me. And you can then say, right, when I find the right people, if the timing is right, if the business is at the right stage, I can put those people in there. But you're not doing it willy-nilly. You're actually doing it very proactively. So getting that organizational chart designed now for the future is massively important. The next thing I would do with that, though, is to put what I call positional contracts in place. Now, what are positional contracts? These are contracts which allow you to say, we've got a legal binding contract for the employment position, but positional contracts are also things that perhaps a level below that, if you like. It actually says exactly what the person's going to be doing in the role. Absolutely right. These are things that you're going to review every 6 months. So the role, the substantive role may stay the same, but the actual things that people do within it may vary slightly. And this is a contract, if you like, I say a contract between you and your employee, making sure that she or he knows exactly what they've got to do, when they've got to do it. There's KPIs associated with it. I would absolutely encourage you with these positional contracts to tie them into the company's values, to tie them into the company's culture, and importantly, to tie them into the company's behaviors, what you expect that person to do. And you get them to sign up to it, right? So they agree. You absolutely enforce it. You engage with your staff every week. And you say, right, in your positional contract, it said you're going to do A, B, and C. You're going to live up to these values. These are going to be behaviors. How did last week go? What can I do to help you to get that right next week? So you have these positional contracts which effectively tighten up the legal contract and give you and the employee the opportunity to really engage around the substantive nature of that role. So you've got the org chart. For each of the positions in the org chart, you've got a positional contract. And as I say, make sure that you tie it into your culture, your values, your behaviors, and link it to your one-to-one, your weekly meetings. And when you do that, you've got an agreed set of priorities for either role, and absolutely helps your productivity within the team, because people want to know what they need to be doing. They want your guidance. And of course, it gives them a sense of ownership as well. The next element, right, I think it's number 7 in the overall 9 steps to systemizing your business, is to have KPIs, very, very detailed key performance indicators. You've heard me say this 1,000 times. You can't manage what you don't measure. Conversely, of course, when you do measure it, when you do break it down, you can see where you're going well, you can see where you need to improve. And your metrics need to track the outcomes that you want. Right? So if you want, let's say, to have more leads in your business, then you need to understand how many phone calls do you need to make a week? How many engagements with clients do you need to have a week? What sort of signs do you need to have outside of your building? If you want to improve your conversion rate, what are you doing around that? So you know your leads, you know your conversion rate, you know your customers, how much are they selling to you? How much are they buying from you? How much are you selling to them? That sort of thing. When you know that, and you know it by product, if you've got multiple locations by different location, you know it overall in your business, you can then know where to have the right product at the right time for the right clients. And those KPIs will drive your business forward and allow you, as the business owner, either to be physically present or elsewhere, but having a set of data that you can look at, say, right, this is how my business is tracking. Without it, you just don't know where you are, and then you're running blind, and you really don't want that, right? So KPI is massively important. Very happy if you want to know more about this, give me a shout. Book some time. Use the link in the description. Book some time, and we can go through them in detail for your business. And I'm happy to share that. The 8th area is what I call how-to systems. Now, that might sound very obvious, but it can be as little as a checklist, which is the most basic system. When you open up your restaurant in the morning, make sure you do these 10, 15 things. When you're cashing out at the end of the day, make sure you do those. So there's a how-to system. It takes away discretion. And I don't mean that you make your employees not have to think. They absolutely have to think, but it makes it consistent, right? So they know exactly what they've got to do. It's not just sitting in their head and they might forget, because we're all prone to forget things from time to time. How-to systems, and they don't even have to be written down. They can be videos, they can be voicemails, they can be pictures on a wall. They can be there's a whole range of ways you can do it. How-to systems help people get the business done consistently every single time. Probably, and again, you would have heard me say this before, probably, McDonald's is a great example of it. They've got systems which are super simple. The burgers come out exactly the same anywhere in the world, right? And that's what how-to systems do. If you're a plumber, if you're an electrician, if you're a tradesperson, if you're an accountant, if you're a lawyer, it's the same thing. If you're a lawyer and you have a legal matter, how do you deal with it each time so that your customer, your client knows exactly what he or she is getting every single time, and your staff know what they've got to do every single time? So those how-to systems Really, really valuable. Again, saving you time, saving you energy that you're putting into it, and making you money. The final one is the management systems. Now, these are the things that aren't necessarily the technical aspects of running your business, but they are the aspects of running business more generally. So how do you do your end of your month procedures? How do you address your marketing? How do you lead and deliver value to your people, to your clients, to your staff? Those are the management systems that actually run the business. When you've got all of those from vision, mission, culture, right the way through to your management systems, then you've got a business which is highly systemized, highly consistent, and will allow you, as the business owner, to either be there if you want to or not, and then let the business run itself. Ideally, of course, with a strong general manager. One, one final comment, or a couple of final comments that I'd make. You want the systems to run the business and the people, of course, to run the systems. And what I would absolutely recommend is don't overcomplicate your systems. You don't need to. It doesn't need to be bigger than Ben-Hur. You need simple systems that work, that critically are agreed to by your people, because if they're not agreed to and they don't use them, well, a system on a shelf is not a system, it's a piece of paper. So make it easy to access, make it easy to use, make them simple, make them fit for your business. And if you want to know more about this, please reach out, book some time in my diary. I would love to talk to you about it, because this is what really will give you the time back in your business, time back in your life, allow you to work on the business, and it will make you money. Have a fantastic week. All the very best. Cheers.